Okay, so we have looked at three things. You can take the sum of two polynomials, you can take the product, you can substitute values for x, and there is another important operation called long division. So let me recall what long division of polynomials is. Again, it is a procedure which must be very familiar. So let us just do it by example. So let me take some more space. So let us perform long division of the polynomial f of x, which is okay. I am going to divide f by g, perform the long division procedure. So what do? We will write f of x first, x cubed minus 2x square plus 3x minus 1. You want to try and divide it by the polynomial x minus 1. So the algorithm, the procedure says first divide the highest power here by the highest power here. So x cubed divided by x gives you a quotient of x square. We write that on top, and we multiply this x square by the x minus 1. So x squared times x minus 1 is of course x cubed minus x square, and then you subtract. So when you subtract, you will end up cancelling the highest power of x. That is the way it is designed essentially. So we will now subtract, we will get minus x squared plus 3x minus 1, and then we continue the same procedure. We divide minus x square, the highest power here, or the highest degree term, with the corresponding thing there. So the quotient is minus x squared divided by x, it is a minus x, and now you multiply x minus 1 by the minus x. So that gives you a minus x squared plus x, then again you subtract, gives you 2x minus 1, and we do the same thing. You divide 2x by x, you get a 2, and you multiply the 2 by the x minus 1, it gives you 2x minus 2, and again you subtract. So when you subtract, you get minus 1 minus of minus 2 is a plus 1. Okay, so we have just done this procedure all the way to the end, and what this procedure produces is, well, it is two things. One is the quotient. So this guy here is the quotient, and the last thing here, so why did we stop there? Because we can't quite continue the process. You can't divide 1 by x minus 1. The highest power there is a 1, meaning it is x power 0, which is smaller than the highest power here. So you can't continue the division. So what is obtained at the very end is what you would call the remainder. Okay, so long division produces a quotient and a remainder. That is the key thing to remember. So let me just say what long division does. So given polynomials, just often abbreviated to polys, polynomials f of x and g of x, what does long division do? Long division produces of f by g produces two more polynomials. So I started with two of them, it produces two more polynomials. Let us call them q of x, q for quotient, and r of x, r for remainder, such that the following properties are true, such that well, what? Firstly, r is the remainder, which means it is something which is obtained at the very last step of the division, which means you can't continue the division anymore. So that is the remainder is something whose degree is smaller, strictly smaller than the degree of g of x. Okay, and so I should also say given non-zero polynomials, so I do not want to be dividing by 0. Okay, so at least I want that g is a non-zero polynomial. So maybe let me just be more precise here. So given polynomials f and g with g non-zero, so I can't divide by 0 even in the world of polynomials. So what it does, it produces two polynomials q and r such that the degree of the remainder is strictly smaller than the degree of what you are dividing by. And what's property 2? Property 2 is the original polynomial f. So what does it mean to divide it? It is just, this is the quotient that you get on doing the division, and then r of x is the extra guy. Okay, so that's the key outcome of doing the long division process. You produce two other polynomials with these properties, that f can be written as g times the quotient plus a remainder, and with the remainder having degree strictly smaller than the degree of g. Okay, so notice, so I should again qualify this a little bit more. So the degree of the remainder is strictly smaller than the degree of g, or the remainder could be 0. So in our case the remainder was something non-zero, but it could very well happen that, you know, when you divide, it's an exact division that the remainder is just 0. And so observe that I said degree is not defined if you know the polynomial is 0. So I am talking about either the remainder is 0 or it is non-zero and has degree strictly smaller than degree of g of x. Okay, so here I should say r of x non-zero with degree strictly smaller, or the remainder is just 0. Okay, so that's what long division does. Okay, so we are ready to sort of do our first proof. Let's prove the following fact, that the quotient and remainder are really unique. So what does it mean? So here's what I want to prove. So here's a claim: such q and r are unique, such polynomials So what does it mean to say that it is unique? If you find another pair of polynomials which has these two properties, then those polynomials will actually coincide with the polynomials q and r. That is, if there exist, say if let us call it some other name, q1x and r1x are two polynomials satisfying the same two properties, satisfying properties 1 and 2, then q is the same as q1 and r is the same as r1. Okay. So let us try and prove this. It is just a very elementary argument. So let us start with the second property there. It says f of x can be written as g of x q of x plus remainder r of x. That is the original polynomial q and r that you obtained by the long division procedure. And now what we are claiming is there is another pair of polynomials q1 and r1 which have the same property. So I am only using property 2 now. So the same thing has two different expressions. Given this, what we will do is subtract these two equations. So from this we conclude the following by subtracting, that g of x multiplied by, so I am going to subtract the top thing minus the bottom thing, q minus, so g of x into q of x minus q1x equals, now I will push the r of x over to the other side. So I get the following equation, that g of x multiplied by q minus q1 is r1x minus r of x. Okay. So the claim from here is that this term here q minus q1 had better be a 0. Okay. So we now claim this implies that q minus q1 is 0, and let us prove it. So this is the standard methodologies of proof, we will prove it by contradiction. Okay. So, we will assume that this is not true and then obtain some obviously absurd statement from that. So, let us assume this is false. So, suppose not, if q minus q1 let us say is a non-zero polynomial, then look at the left hand side, we have got g of x which is a non-zero polynomial, you have got q minus q1 which is a non-zero polynomial, and you are multiplying these two polynomials out. Okay. So, I am taking the product of two non-zero polynomials. Remember we had a property of degree. So, what can we say? If both these are non-zero polynomials, the degree of their product, the property of degree says degree of g times q minus q1 must be the sum of the degrees. It is degree of g of x plus degree of q minus q1. Okay, I am just suppressing the x there. Often we will just want to use the symbols rather than of x each time. Now, so let me also do that for g. So, it is degree of g plus the degree of q minus q1. Now, what about the right hand side? The right hand side is r1 minus r, okay, and each of those is, what do we know about r1 and r? Now, we will use property 1. Each of them is either the 0 polynomial, r and r of x could both be 0, or they could have degree, or they are both non-zero, or one or the other is non-zero, and the degree is strictly smaller than the degree of g of x. So, that is property 1. Now, what does that imply? The difference of r and r1, but by property 1 we conclude that the degree of r minus r1 is strictly smaller than the degree of g, because both r and r1 have degree which is strictly smaller than the degree of g, right. So, their difference would also have the same property, or of course it could be 0, that is also fine. So, or it could happen that r minus r1 is 0, okay. But notice that we already have a contradiction, because on the one hand the left hand side has degree equal to the degree of g plus the degree of something. So, the left hand side has degree at least the degree of g. So, this guy is at least the degree of g, whereas the right hand side has degree strictly smaller than the degree of g. So, these two things could not possibly be equal, okay. So, that is a contradiction. The degrees of the left and the right hand side turn out to be different, right. And why did we obtain this contradiction? Because we made an assumption which must therefore be false, okay. We assumed q minus q1 is non-zero, but in fact that is a false assumption because it leads to an absurd statement. Okay, so that is done. So, we are done with the proof of this claim of uniqueness.